God doesn't put us in places where he, like, thinks we're going to be bad at it. Like, that would be such a setup. To be like, go do this thing. Actually, you're trash at this thing. There's no opportunity that you're going to find that's going to be in your comfort zone. Lots of people like to stay in that box because it's safe. But you're never going to accomplish anything if you keep making safe steps. Sometimes you kind of have to, like, not struggle, but at least, like, you have to try and put yourself out there, because there's nothing for you in the state that you're already in. If you're trying to improve yourself, you can't improve yourself in the state you're already in. You have to look outwards, and you have to aspire to be something more than you already are.
Welcome back to another episode of Ministry Reimagined. This episode was honestly one of my favorite ones to film because I've known Jorja for about 4 years now, and we've talked a lot about ministry, Christianity, religion, and it was cool to dive deeper. She's one of the most ministry-focused people I know, and so it was cool to see how every little thing in her life is her ministry. Hi, Jorja.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Let's tell them what time it is right now, because Jorja is very busy in her life and ministry that we'll talk about. So the only free time she had
Is at 10:46 p.m.
Which honestly doesn't sound super late. Like, it sounds like...
No, but it sounds like when you've been up since, like, up and moving since, like... 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, like, nonstop.
Like,
you're just
crazy.
awake.
You're not just, like, moving and, like, sitting down.
Yeah. No. You're up, you're moving, you're interacting. It's, like, insane the entire day. So,
yeah.
I'm after this, I'm going to crash. I'm going to be awake.
Yeah.
7:30 staff meeting.
Bro,
so good.
I don't know how you've been doing that for, like, 5 years now. Is this your fifth?
This is my 5th year.
Fifth.
This is your 4th year.
Was last year. Oh my gosh, you're right.
So sad.
Wow. Well, we'll get into it. And why? Because you have to be, like, a specific type of crazy to choose to do this every single year.
I think it takes a very, very brave and just strong-willed person to do this. Yeah. It is not
very
for
true.
everybody.
Very true. To do it more than once, because a lot of people can do it once for very different reasons.
Yeah.
But to do it 5 times now,
every year,
and you know what you're getting yourself into every single time.
Exactly.
So we'll get into that. But first, let's have you introduce yourself. Who are you? What does your life look like? I don't know.
Okay. It's the most simple question, but then it's like the most random question.
Right.
My name is Jorja. I'm 23. I'm a recent graduate of Algonquin College.
Yup.
I have a mom, a dad. I have 5 cats. I have a sister.
Oh my gosh, 5 cats. What do you do with all of them?
I don't like having 5 cats, but they're there.
Okay.
What do I like to do for fun? I love to cook. I love to bake. I run track and field. I like being outside, hence working here.
Let's say where we are, because we're at
Camp Brenda.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they can see this close.
Camp Brenda, indeed.
Yeah,
it is a Adventist summer camp in Minette, Ontario, which is in Muskoka, which is basically like, I don't know, the fancy area of Canada.
Very fancy.
Lots of lakes.
Yeah.
Lots of rich people.
A lot.
And we're currently in the nature center, which is a little...
Which I hope you can't really tell from the setup.
No, I think it's nice.
Because this building has been known to be very ugly and scary.
A little bit.
But anyway.
I think that's my main introduction.
No, that's good.
Yeah, okay.
With that, I think you have a lot of experience with ministry. What are some of the things that you do?
Ooh. This is the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
Easily the biggest one I do. I start planning in February for this. But within
for
my
the
church...
Summer, wow.
Yeah. Within my church, I'm part of the youth ministry, so AY ministry. I'm part of children's ministry, and I'm part of community service as well. So those are the 3 different things that I kind of juggle around. Some I have, like, I like youth ministries a little bit more, but, like, that's what I do.
That's really cool.
Through my church, yeah.
How did you get into that? Because I know you don't go, or you didn't go. You graduated now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But you didn't go to an Adventist school, which I know makes it a lot harder to do ministry and to stay in touch with that, how did you get into all the ministries that you're doing or you've done?
I think a lot of it, so as she said, I didn't go to Adventist school, never have public school, born and raised. We just didn't have the money to send like me and my sisters all to private school.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we ended up doing, free education. So
yeah.
But getting into it, there's like this weird gap in my church. So it's kind of like the people that were like 5 years older and above, there was like a big group of them, and then they all dropped off. And then there was no one else to take anything up. And then there's me and my 3 best friends were the only ones in our age group. So we were like sitting there at like 13, bored because there's nothing to do at church. And so we were trying to like slowly bring things in. So like at 13, we were in children's ministry, like helping, doing all that stuff to keep ourselves entertained.
Wow.
Because there was nothing to do. So like obviously there's like things like Pathfinders and things like that. And I actually never did Pathfinders. My friends did, but I never vibed with it that much.
How come?
I don't really know. I didn't like waking up early on Sunday. I didn't like the uniform. And I think it was because it was like very military, I think is why I didn't really like it. So
yeah, it definitely depends on the club.
It's just, and there was only like a couple of us anyway. So like I said, there was only like the 4 of us in my age group, so we had to go to like a different church to go to their program, and my mom wasn't gonna drive me to do that. So
at 13,
exactly. So it was like whatever. So like I said, there was like that weird gap, and there was lots of people that were older than us that ended up leaving the church. So there was, once again, there's nothing to do. So it was kind of like us trying to find things to do and slowly becoming like leads in ministry. Like my best friend is AY ministry leader now. Wow. And so like that's really cool for her. And I help obviously with like the different teams and all that kind of thing. But it was mainly like there was a disconnect within our church. And so like even now we've been doing so much better with our youth groups and everything. Like we have so much youth at our church, and we actually have programming for them to go to. And I think it's important because when people get bored, they find their own things to do, which is like obviously self-discovery isn't bad, but it depends what kind of self-discovery you're looking at. So I think that's kind of where it started. And I've always liked helping and making things happen. Hence why I work here, because I like to make things happen. Yeah. So that's kind of my vibe.
Making things happen. No, that's good, because a lot of people, when they see that there's nothing for them, they just move on and go the complete opposite direction. Yeah. But I think it's really cool how you made things happen when there wasn't anything. I think that takes a special type of, mindset and
to want to like fill a void, because like you said, obviously people they're very okay with just leaving it as it is. Even working here, I hate leaving things as it is. I can't stand it. I'm like, let's improve it. Let's make it better, because the people that come up after us, we're like, we want them to enjoy it just as much. So.
Or even more.
Yeah, exactly.
And fix the things that we didn't enjoy. Yeah. Which are, no, camp is great. No, camp is great. There's a reason we kept coming back.
Yeah, exactly. 4 years, 5 years. Yeah. There's a reason people come back.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
But it doesn't mean you shouldn't keep trying to make it better. And just be okay with how it is.
Exactly. Because, I mean, what's that whole thing that people say? They're like, you come to God, but you don't like come as you are, but don't stay as you are. So it's kind of like, come here, do your thing, but don't strive to just do the same thing all the time. So,
as far as ministry, what would you say is the hardest part about it?
For me, or just for people in general?
For you.
For me, I'm kind of an all or nothing type of person. I do not like to give half my effort to anything. And so I have a very hard time delegating, and I have a very hard time taking breaks. So obviously people are like, the ministry burnout, it's gonna get you and everything like that. And it definitely has. Like there's times where like even the people here know, there's my days where like 3 days straight where I just don't want to speak. And that's literally my entire job here is just speaking. Yeah. So I'm definitely grateful for those people that notice that from me, and they're kind of like, let me do this for you. Yes. I don't want to talk. But I think that would, for me personally, that's probably the hardest part, as well as when you have like a vision for something and how you want it to be, but then obviously I have higher ups, not that they're wrong or anything, but sometimes they have to like pump the brakes on you, and you're like, this is the thing I really want to do, and they're like, okay, there's like steps and procedures and things to do it, right? And I'm kind of like, but I want to do it. Right? So I have a hard time with that too. So having someone who's very grounded is always very good for me, because my vision is like,
right,
and I need to be kind of like, okay, this is what we can do in this like environment, right? Or like with this amount of funds and things.
Yeah.
And that can be kind of frustrating for me, because I'm like, oh, this thing could be really, really good if we just put in our effort and all that kind of stuff. But like sometimes you really do have to pump the brakes and like look at it.
Think about it, yeah.
The Pinterest boards that I have for just like camp things. But yeah, I think that would probably be the hardest parts of ministry for me, is definitely delegating, asking for the help is another really big one, because I don't tend to like to bother people. So I'll just take it on and not say anything, and then I'm like half dying. Yeah. And then someone notices, they're like, do you need help? Yes. Yes, I do. But yeah, it takes, you know, things. But what did she say to me? Juvie, our old office manager, she came up to me, she's like, delegating is basically you telling the person that you're delegating to that you trust them enough to take on this task. And that actually put it into put it into perspective for me, because like I never thought about it that way, but that's literally what that means, is like me trusting you with that task, whether it's like a smart decision or it might not exactly go the way that I want. I like, you can kind of dictate how it goes too. I'll be like, okay, I need you to do this thing. Yeah. Please do it this way. And then like I learn from things and they learn from things too. And then there's a bit more trust built through that, because then they're like, oh, she trusts me. Yes, so yeah, that's my thought.
That's good. I think it's hard to find the balance of just wanting to get it done and knowing that you can do it the way that you want to. Yeah. So you said that that's the hardest part for you. What about the hardest part that you've noticed in general from people that work in ministry?
This is actually a tough question.
Why?
Because I think lots of people struggle with different things, and obviously there's not one single thing people struggle with. But
is there something that like you notice is a repeating thing, or that you've seen more of?
People dropping off. They're really excited at the beginning. They really want to do it, and they're super involved, and there's kind of like that high of being like, oh, I'm with all these like-minded people, and I'm really, really excited to do this thing, and you're like, yes, do the thing. And then it starts getting a little tough, and then they disappear. Yeah. So even whether it's here at camp or even like in like other ministries, you know that person that never talks in the group chat, where your people are saying things, they're typing things out, and they're like, can you do this? Can you do this? And then they just never respond, and you're like, okay, so you're taking up space in this group chat meeting. Not that we don't love you, however, we need you to do you know. So I think that's a big thing, is like being able to kind of pace it properly, or even like take a step back. I know that with our AY ministry, we were really trying to do a lot. For a bit, we were doing like YouTube channels. We were trying to release videos every single week, and we were trying to do like AY programs every single week and all that kind of stuff. And so it was kind of like the quality of the content was dropping, because we were killing ourselves trying to release so much stuff. But then it was also a matter of people weren't coming to the events anymore, and people weren't interested because it's all in your face all the time. So I think with that, we had to like take a step back, and we were very more like pointed in what we wanted to do. So we had like different like series of things that we wanted to put out there and topics that we wanted to talk about. And so I think it made it a little easier for people to stay involved. But we also like, our youth have a group chat. There's so many people in our group chat. But at least like you can say specific things. Like some people will be like, hey, I'm going on a hike today, and it's still like, it's still staying connected, definitely not in the same way, but at least it's like, it's not always like, this is happening and this is happening and this is happening, because you get bombarded with so much stuff. You're like, I don't know, should I go to the, you know, the youth movie night or the Pathfinder car wash? Like, what should I do? Yeah, you know. So it makes it can be pretty tough. So I'd say people getting kind of overwhelmed and all the tasks that they have to do is a tough one. I'd also say asking God before you start stuff. That's something I know I definitely struggle with, but I find people are like, dear God, please help us with this plan that we've already put together. There's like 22 steps. We're going to implement it. Please assist us, right?
Yeah.
But it's more of like okay, how should we put this together? And how should we do it in the best way to, you know, honor you and serve you, right? And so it's just that type of thing where I think sometimes that step is not always missed, but kind of overlooked in its importance, because just taking a step in faith is good. Like, yeah, but also like take the advice, like kind of wait and pray on it. Like, obviously here at camp is kind of hard. I definitely struggle with it because I'm like, I can't stop and wait a lot. Like answer, sometimes you just have to say, you have to make a decision, like pray about it, make the decision and keep going. He's not going to abandon you. Like that would be awful. Yeah. But I think making that like conscious decision to at least try to involve God in the decisions you're making, because the ministry will be fruitful for it. Yeah.
You were talking about taking a step back, and I don't know if you've noticed, but this banner right here, the one behind me, says, let's take a step back. And so when you said that, I pointed to it, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I definitely didn't peep that. I was definitely yapping.
Which is perfect, because it comes naturally. Exactly. So what does taking a step back in ministry mean for you?
Taking a step back can mean a lot of different things. I think it depends how far deep you are in it, because I think it was 2 years ago Joseph gave us this book. It's called Refreshed. I couldn't tell you the author. I'm trying to find it, but he's just a pastor, like not an Adventist pastor, but just pastoral ministry. And he talks a lot about how it is being in ministry, and how lots of people are like, go, 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 and like they want to be kind of like the spotlight and everything like that. So I think that can be a lot of people's motive in ministry in general. Like, oh, yes, I am the leader of men's ministry. But to take a step back, I think, one, you have to tell your team. You can't just drop off the face of the earth. And I've definitely been that person where I look at the messages and I kind of like, I read it and I'll react and I'll kind of put input, but I'm not like fully in it. And so I definitely tell people, I'm like, guys, I need a second, or like a couple weeks just to, I guess, refocus myself is kind of like the taking the step back, because life gets busy. Work, school, any extracurriculars you have, like your family, your friends, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot. And I feel bad for the people that don't know how to like manage their time, because it gets rough. Like becoming an adult, nobody told me that I had to like schedule 3 weeks in advance a 2-hour hangout with my friends, but yeah, that's what it is. I used to bike to your house and hang out all day for no reason. But and
now it's hey, are you free in 3 weeks?
Tuesday of February. I'm good that day. I'm not good that day. It's funny. It's so unfortunate. Yeah. But taking a step back is like, I definitely have to remove myself a little bit. I'd still like to be involved, but I take a step back leading things, just because I think it also brings a refresher when you see other people do things, and you taking a step back as a leader also. It can be hard, and sometimes you kind of have to give them a little bit of a shove, but it encourages other people to kind of step up. And once again, kind of like the delegating thing where you're like, okay, I trust you to do this thing. And it might not be perfect the first time you do it, because literally nothing is the first time you do it. But it encourages other people to like take on that load. So it's, you know, like you're not carrying everything by yourself, which is, I think, what a lot of people do when they're really passionate about ministry, is they're just like, oh, let me like carry all the boxes by myself. But you can't. It's literally impossible. So taking that step back to like refocus. I always like to do just like reconnect with old hobbies that I haven't touched in a little bit. Just to, you know, start a project and do something creative and a little bit different that I haven't done in a little bit, to kind of like restart a little bit and come back. And normally like a lot of my hobbies are kind of like quiet hobbies, so I'll either like listen to music or podcasts.
Listening to this
I hope somebody's out there crocheting and listening to this podcast. Hello, my fellow crocheters. And just reconnect with like the vision and how you want to do things. I tend to try and find stories in the Bible that I try to relate to. I'm an Ecclesiastes girl. I love the book of Ecclesiastes.
What's special about Ecclesiastes?
Ecclesiastes. If you want to find yourself, I think that reading the book of Ecclesiastes is such a good thing because it's literally King Solomon being like, life sucks, but it's fantastic at the same time. And I think it really, because lots of people have those like big questions of like, oh, what am I supposed to do? And how does this work? And, you know, my faith and all that kind of stuff. And Ecclesiastes really puts it in perspective. They're like, yeah, you're not going to know all the answers. But you know what? Like, my favorite verse. Oh, my goodness. For all the people that are finding themselves. Let me find it.
Wow, that's really good.
I want to quote it well. I don't want to
butcher it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to butcher it.
That's so interesting. I feel like nobody ever says Ecclesiastes is the book that they went to.
Genuinely. I've said that to a pastor one time and they're like, oh. And I was like, excuse me? Now, so okay, mean. Have I read every book of the Bible? No. What does it say in Habakkuk? I couldn't tell you. I can't lie. Yeah, I don't know. Do I aspire to read it one day? Absolutely. I'm in King James Version, but let me do New International Version. Taking a step back. So it is Ecclesiastes 3 verse 22. And it says, so I saw that there is nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work because that is their lot. For who can bring them to see what will happen after them? And I like this verse a lot because I read Ecclesiastes for the first time. I had taken a year of school. I'm a COVID kid. So I graduated during COVID and then I did my first year of university online. And I hated online. I can't stand it. I lose motivation immediately.
Just from it being...
I can be in class, in my bed. I'm not in class. I'm asleep. Like, please don't expect me to be awake. So I did a year. I did Indigenous Studies my first year. And then I took time off because it was only a 1-year diploma. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with my time? All that kind of stuff. And I was kind of going through that crisis a little bit. And I had to take a step back, if you would, and give myself a little bit more perspective. And I don't know why Ecclesiastes popped up, but it did. And I liked this verse a lot because a lot of the questions I always had was like, oh, is this like my purpose in life? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this how am I supposed to conduct myself? Is this, you know, what if I'm going this direction and God doesn't want me to go in that direction, right? Which, you know, it's like, you never know. But I was like killing myself trying to answer all those questions. And Ecclesiastes was really blunt with it. It was like, yeah, you're going to have these questions. They're not all going to be answered. You know, sometimes like in the moment, you're not going to see the bigger picture. Standing too close to the frame. You know, I have to take a step back and look at the big picture. Wow. But it takes time. You can't just be like, okay, I'm ready to look at the picture. Like, no. Like, you're not ready for it because sometimes it's right in your face, like we were talking about all the time. Like, so you have to refocus yourself. And I like this verse because it's basically telling you that we don't have a lot in this world. Because I think most people feel, what's my purpose? What am I doing? But the work that we choose to do, like, you might as well enjoy it. If you're going to choose something, don't choose a job that you're literally going to hate doing. Like, I aspire to wake up every morning excited to work. I like working here. Am I dirt tired? Does it, like, my alarm is set at 6:45. Staff meeting is at 7:30. Am I still getting out of my bed at 7:25 to go to staff meeting? Yes. That's funny. But I enjoy it. I've never been bored here. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of, when you take a step back and you look at things and you refocus yourself, you will see the purpose eventually, and you will see the things that you're good at. And not everybody's going to appreciate the talents that you have, but they're not there for no reason. You just kind of have to find your niche and where to work it, right? Like, yeah. Ecclesiastes, New International Version. Wow, that's really good. I'm inspired to read Ecclesiastes now. It's only 12 books. It's not even long.
12 chapters.
Yeah, 12 chapters. It's okay.
We got what you were saying.
I can read you a poem I wrote about Ecclesiastes.
You wrote a poem about Ecclesiastes?
I did.
Yeah, you have to read it to us now.
Gosh, can I find it?
How long ago do you think you wrote it?
December something.
That's really cool.
It is. I wrote poetry sometimes. Indeed, I am.
She crochets.
I know.
She knits.
I'm a catch, bro. I can read and write.
Hey, a lot of people can't.
This is true. I think I read this once to somebody. Like, I just write my thoughts down once again in those moments of crisis where you're
That's
like,
good.
where you're like, I need to do something, and I just write it down, and it comes in waves. But it says this gets partially deep depending on your perspective on life. But it goes, Ecclesiastes 3 begins, there is a time for everything, and a time for every activity under the sun. And although this verse rings true, I found that no amount of ignorance can wash away this bittersweet taste of reality that nothing lasts forever. And I think maybe that's why my camera roll is full of so many pictures, a desperate hope that I can capture it. Then maybe that fleeting moment may not disappear. Having realizations while laughing with friends that in mere moments this will all be a memory that I can never turn back to. And although I may look back and it can never truly be the one who was in that picture again, because nothing lasts forever. And in some cases, that is a blessing. Thinking back on the times that my chest hurt so much that I thought it would implode, when streams of rushing water would roll from my eyes, and I would try to cover my face in pillows in hopes that no one would hear me. But nothing lasts forever. And in truth, this statement has always terrified me. I find that people tend to speak this phrase in times of joy, the ominous overlooking cloud of time that tick-tocks its way over the blue skies and tells us that we need to move on and be more than we are in that moment right now. Nothing lasts forever. And at times I find myself desperately trying to cling on to things that I once was, looking for joy in things that no longer bring it to me, searching desperately for answers from my younger self who didn't really know them either, and just trying to freeze time just for a moment longer, so that although I may not move forward, neither will the things that I am afraid of. Nothing lasts forever. And yes, this is true, but maybe it's not as ominous as I first thought it to be. Maybe not a warning, but a reminder that nothing lasts forever. So live in the moment, soak it in as much as you can. You will feel this feeling again, but you'll never be the same as the last time. And that's okay. Do not be afraid of what you think you need to be in the future, or try to bury them, the you once were in the past. Because joy, sadness walk hand in hand through the gardens of your mind, taking turns as to let the other rest, because that is the greatest gift that time has given us, is that nothing lasts forever.
Wow.
Guys, I'm poetic.
Please. Way to ruin the moment. That's funny. No, that's really good. I think it's all about perspective, because a verse like nothing lasts forever, that can be so daunting and so like, well, then what's the point?
Well, exactly, because I think, like, I personally think we're living in some pretty crisis times in the world. And I think everything in Daniel and Revelation is coming to fruition, so it kind of just feels like, what was the point of trying anything if nothing's going to matter anyway, right? But God literally says in the book of Ecclesiastes that he's like, you can't just sit and not do anything. You have to take steps, and you have to make yourself into a better person in all the trials that you face and all the things that you do. It makes you into a bigger person. You can't just sit and wait for things to happen, because what character growth comes from that? Literally nothing. Yeah. And so how will you prepare yourself for future opportunities, like whether it's in jobs or relationships and all those kind of things, if you've never done it? You know, people are always scared, like, I have no experience. I'm like, so you gotta go do things to gain experience. And it sucks sometimes, because you're often in the room with a whole bunch of people that are experienced, and you're like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do? But it's like, no one's gonna make fun of you for trying.
Some might, but that's okay.
And they don't matter.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah.
We need you to have 13 years of experience by the age of 21. Sorry?
It's not even legal.
Exactly.
When it comes to the ministry that you've done, and you know, you're starting and you're still part of, how do you view AI as part of it?
I think it's useful in certain things. I think people use it too much sometimes.
How?
Like, I hate doing assignments with people.
They just
like,
use chat.
This is very clearly straight from ChatGPT. I know you didn't write this. So I find that kind of annoying. I use it more for like I said, like brainstorming ideas, because sometimes you're like, what do I talk about in this youth discussion? I have no idea, right? Or even just like fun activities or different like games and things like that. I think it just makes it a lot easier, because there is so much information, and it's great to like read the old information. Like I went through a whole bunch of like all these old books and stuff like that, and so there is a lot of good content there, right? But it's also, it takes a while. And sometimes in ministry, you don't have a while to take. Sometimes you have to make a decision like right there, and you have to fix something up or change a game or do whatever. And so AI can be quite useful. Am I nervous around it? Yes, but I suck at technology. Like every single thing that's here right now, I don't know how to set this up because I can't plug in my laptop to a projector and have it work. Literally down the fire, like Ryan, he works here and he does a lot of the IT. I call him for everything. It is so I'm like, funny. I don't know how to do this. He's like, I showed you how to do this yesterday. And I'm like, but I forgot. And everything looks the same. Because I'm like, my head's everywhere. So I just don't think about it. So it's great to have people that are good at that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think
that's funny.
I think it has its uses. But I also find it can sometimes take away a little bit, depending on how you use it. Obviously, like you have to, I think it can take away a bit of just personal creativity that goes into things, right? And sometimes you kind of have to sit with ideas and think about it. So generating ideas, I think it's really good, but like for you to sit there, I don't think it's good for you to like, let's say if we did like a biblical discussion kind of thing, and you were looking for like prompts to say, and then the answers to those prompts. I think like having the questions there is good, and knowing where to look is good, but not doing the research and just accepting the answers that are there, because then you have no personal thing to say about it. Like it's just generated the answer that you're supposed to say. And I think all of us know that a formulated answer to a question is one of the most annoying things in the entire world, because there's so many variables to things. It's like when people are like, well, if you're lacking in your faith, read your Bible. Okay. Yeah. You should pray. Okay. Got those 2 steps down. I do. But you need that real life connection with people. Like, even us sitting here right now, talking about all these different things, right? I don't think AI substitutes those things. Does it help generate things to bring up tough conversations? Like, yes, absolutely. Like, it's definitely a tool that you should use, because why waste your time looking through paper content? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a book lover too. I love to read. But sometimes you just don't have the time, or you don't have like the know-how to put things together, but at least it kind of helps segue things, and then you can have those actual conversations. But I think it's better for people in general to know what they're talking about and to relate to it before that they can like preach about it and like say those things, because I can be like, oh, Ecclesiastes is a really good book, and I've literally never read it. Yeah, I'm sure lots of books are good, but if I haven't read it, I can't really relate to it that much. So I think that's where it kind of gets different.
That's true.
Personally.
Yeah,
I'm not a big AI person. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Do things the hard way,
and that's okay. I think it's
Some kid is gonna find this podcast and be like, "She works at Camp Brenda."
Bro, did you hear that one girl at Swim Doc? She was like, "Do you have a podcast?" And I'm like, yeah, how do you know? And she's like, I saw it on TikTok. And I was like, did you follow it? She said, no, I scrolled past it. I was like, oh,
personal slander. She knew what she was doing too. She was like, let me
I know, like she
attack your whole
it was
career.
Nice that she remembered it.
Yeah,
but to tell me that she just scrolled past it, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that?
I like your podcast.
You've been my number one supporter.
I comment on everything.
On everything. And she tells me like that she listened to it. She tells me feedback from it, and it's very good. That's the best, bro. That's like, everybody needs more of that in their lives. They need more.
Because when you're doing things, like, okay, don't do things for the praise, obviously. But it's nice when people notice. And this was a big lesson that I learned last year, because I wasn't going to come back this year, I won't lie. I love being here, but I struggled a lot because last year was my first year as program director. Guys, I went through it.
It's hard.
But it was funny because everybody on the outside was telling me, they were like, it was so good, it was a fantastic summer, like the shirts were amazing, the programs were amazing, like you were so nice and you were so great. Guys, I was going through it all summer. When I tell you, there's a sickness that goes through Frenda every single year, the Frenda flu.
People get pneumonia. People get
like this year's ear infections. I don't know what from, but people, so like at the beginning of the summer, everybody was getting like the average Frenda sickness, and now people are getting like, I don't know, like if they either swimming too much, but I work waterfront and I'm in the water all the time and I have yet to get an ear infection. But everybody would get sick. And last year I did not get sick. And I was so surprised because I was like, I'm working so hard. Why am I not getting sick? The day I got home, guys, I got the plague. I was out when I got home for a week. Wow. Just straight, like, dying. And I think it was just a lot of pent up, like, stress. Mm-hmm. And then the car ride home with my mom, like, I felt it in my throat. Mm-hmm. And then I woke up the next day and I was like,
no, that's so sad.
It found me. But I think it's very important, like, don't get me wrong, doing it and being humble in every single action that you do is great. Mm. You don't have to be like, this is for me and all this kind of stuff. But as someone who's in ministry, it's important to recognize things for other people because they've definitely, whether they're putting on events or they work really hard, like our prayer ministry at my church, they pray hard. And it's funny because sometimes they'll call you and be like, we're praying for you tonight. And I'm like, how y'all know I was going through it? But obviously that's God working, right? But it's always important to do things in humility. But I think it's also as a person who uses the programs and like indulges in them, whether it's children or like youth or like the singles ministry or men's ministry, all those kinds of things. Like it's really important to tell people that they're doing a good job. And then I think that keeps people from getting burnt out because they hear at least a little bit of the praise that people saw. Like it could be one person. I think it was Sarah last year who told me, she was like, this is the best banquet I've ever been to. I thought it was a disaster, but she was like, this was amazing. I had so much fun. The costumes were great. The activities were so much fun. And in my mind, I was like half crying because I thought it was so bad. But obviously that's my internal perspective. Like apparently to everybody else, they're like, it was so much fun. So I think it's very important to like commend people for doing that kind of stuff. So even whether it's commenting on your podcast and things like that, like constantly seeing like 0 likes or 0 whatever, like I can imagine for those content people, it was a rough time. The reason I don't take on content, bro.
It is very rough. That's
I tell my youth. Tell my youth ministry they made me content creator. Mistake. I am so bad at it, but
no,
I try. But I think it's important to at least hear some praise and definitely to support other people. Like I'm not specifically in women's ministry, but I'm a woman, so if they have an event, let me at least pull up.
Right?
Why not?
To support.
Yeah, exactly. It just helps. And it makes other people feel.
No, that's a big thing. That itself is, I think, a ministry in itself. It's telling people that they're doing good and that, you know, even if it's not, because a lot of the times I think it's your expectations that makes you, like for banquet example, I'm sure you had a lot of expectations on how you expected it to look like. And if it didn't look like that, then you're like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. Yeah. But just because it's not what you expected doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Because people, like, another great piece of advice I was given as a programmer, like, not computer programming, but, you know.
That is what it sounded like.
As a programmer. I don't know why that person had that voice, but, sorry to all my computer programmers out there. But as, I could keep laughing. As someone who likes to make things happen, programming-wise, at camps and other things, nobody knows what your plans were. Genuinely nobody knows. So when I used to have a crisis because I was like, oh, like I have to change things up because like even today, like we were supposed to do glow games.
It rained, tornado.
Yeah, like bad weather, right? But nobody really knew what the plans were supposed to look like. So it's kind of like, why am I beating myself up for a plan that nobody knew about? This plan, for all you know, is the plan that was going to happen anyway. So, why not? But for all my words of affirmation people out there, it's okay to need a little bit of verbal affirmation that you're doing okay.
Absolutely. I think, like I said, I think that itself, giving people those words of affirmation is a ministry in itself. When it comes to a ministry, how would you define what a ministry even is? Like, do you think it has to be work in the church to be a ministry, or it can be anything?
I think if it's with and for God, I think it is can be categorized. Definitions. I think it can be a ministry. Like, people do things solo all the time. Like, whether you're a Christian or not, I think there's things that people do that is considered ministry. Like I have really good friends, they're not Christian, but they still reach out to me and all that kind of thing. Like, I think, here's an example, me in public school. How our lunches work. I don't know in America how it is. My school is small. Population 600. And I know if you went to Kingsway, that's like, wow, so many people, right? But my high school is a small high school. But I had friends that would smoke the devil's lettuce. But then the cafeteria would close at a certain time. So there would be no snacks for the munchies. As you can tell, I'm a person who's very involved. I was at school at 7:30 for band practice, and then I would stay, do all my classes. I would have like an extracurricular class at lunch, and then do my other 2 classes, finish the day, and probably go to some type of sport practice. So I was at school a lot. So I always had food in my locker, whether it was granola bars or apples, or I always had, like, my locker looked like a pantry. Because you just grab and go, right? But I had friends that would do these extracurricular activities, but they would come to me and they would get food from me because they knew I had it. Like, I would have like cup ramen and stuff like that too. And in like the student center, they have like kettles so you can just get water and all that. But like, I look back at it and I was like, that was kind of my own mini ministry in itself. Yeah. Because although I wasn't like preaching them to them, like the gospel and all that kind of stuff, but showing love to people is a ministry. Like, no matter how you express it, kind of thing, whether it's the words of affirmation thing, checking in to see if people are okay, but also just being like aware of the people around you. Like, our job as Christians is to tell people about God and all that kind of thing, and his love and how much he loves us, but there's different ways of like expressing it. And so I think there are many different things that are a ministry that might not necessarily fall under like the basic ones that you see at everybody's church, right? But your own like individual pursuits. Like, my dad coaches track on the side, and he's been a coach for 30 something years, longer.
Wow.
40 something years. I know it's old. Sorry if you're watching this. But he thinks to himself, like, me and my sister would always make fun of him because he had lots of athletes that would like would relate to him and come to him and talk to him, because being like, you have your separate life and then you kind of have your thing. Like, anybody who plays sports, you know, you kind of leave your life on the side and then you go and you do your practice or your sport or your training or whatever. But sometimes you can't always leave it on the side. And so he would have a lot of those deep conversations with people, like people that didn't have dads, or people like, I find like if I'm going through it, if like at a practice, is because there's something else going on. Like, I don't typically want to show those things, but like, obviously he's been coaching for so long and there's people that still reach out to him to this day, and he doesn't think it was a ministry at all. Like, he's like, well, I was just being myself and doing what I needed to do, and like being a father to some people, being a brother to other people, being just like something humorous because maybe when they went home it wasn't great, right? And he coached a wide range of different types of people, right? Different types of athletes. But I talk to him now and he's like, well, it's just me being me. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a ministry in itself. Like, you were being like the love that people needed, and whether you think it was or not, you were doing God's work, regardless of if it was ministry or not. Like, nobody was like collecting tithe and being like, I wanted to go to Craig's ministry. But like, we all have our own individual pursuits that we find just small things.
No, that's good. Yeah. Ministry is, I think a lot of people see it as just something that even when you tell people about God, it's like they picture you need to stand in the middle of the street in the city and be like, God, with the big sign, like, God, repent now or you're going to die. And like, that's their form of, you know, telling people about God, but it's not. I think the most effective way to tell people about God is by showing them.
Living it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because somebody asked me this last year. They're kind of like, well, like we have our classes here, like individual different things that we do. But I know that some camps do things a little differently, and they have kind of like different structured lessons, and like they'll talk about different things. But I know those camps are a little smaller, so I think it makes it a little bit easier. But I always tell people, I'm like, you have to live your life in such a way that it reflects the things that you read in the Bible, because sometimes your actions are the only Bible someone will read, right? Because some of the kids that we get here are not Christian. Like, they're not Adventist, they're not Christian, they're nothing. Well, not nothing, but you know what I mean. So but they come back every year, and it's like, I've been seeing you forever. Why are you still here? Right?
Yeah.
But it's like, they love it here, and I think that speaks for itself. Like, this in itself is a huge ministry, but also every single person has their own mini individual ministry that goes along with it. We have different departments here, and we like to feud sometimes to see who's like the best one. Like, I'm a swim dock person.
Yeah.
I like being in the water. Celeste worked adventure sports, biking and doing gymnastics. You know, and there's horse barn, and there's crafts, and there's like a whole bunch of different things. But you as the individual being in that department, like, just because I love swim dock, there's definitely a kid that hates it, you know? But that's where another person would come in. Like, they might have conversations with Celeste at Rockwall, you know what I mean? And another kid who likes Rockwall might come and do canoeing, kayaking, and find something else that they like, right? And I think every individual person within their ministry has their own little mini thing, and nobody has to know about it. Nobody has to know, like, how you're, like, what your heart is and all that kind of thing. But as long as your heart's in the right place and you're trying to do the work that God wants you to do, I think that's a ministry.
What's the reason behind the passion you have for this ministry? For any ministry that you've done, just what makes you want to, you know, spread God?
This is a hard question. I love helping people. Shout out to my mom, because she said this about me one time, and she didn't know I was listening, and I felt nice. Words of affirmation. But she was telling one of her friends, she's like, she really wants to help people. And I'd never really thought about that in that sentence. I was like, no, low-key, everything that you like doing, you like helping people, regardless of the format it's in. All my different careers that I have lined up, I don't want to be bored, so I don't want to stick with the same thing for a very long time. That's why I could not do retail. But I think the passion comes from seeing a need and, like, knowing that there's a solution to that thing, and that I guess I could kind of be something that makes a gateway to find that solution. And like I said, I like making things happen. I love planning, and I love putting it together. The stress that comes with it is crazy, but I think I love seeing that end result of something, and it's like, it's finished, and it's exciting. And I think the passion just comes from, like, I can't claim that it's from myself, because I think with people, obviously we have our different talents, but it's up to us to, like, use them. But there's just, like, a certain fire that I'm like, it doesn't fully come from me. Like, it has to come from something more divine than myself. Because I don't think things would work out the way that they have for me. Obviously, I only just graduated. The crisis after I leave this place. Unemployed. Hey, but I don't think the passion comes from me itself, but I think, like, it's something that I've always been an excitable person. I like seeing things, and I like doing things, and I'm never scared to. I probably should be a little more cautious. I'm not a person that's like, let me dip my toe in and see what it's like. I'm like, all right, let's go and see what it's like, and see, it might not be for me, but I think that's just the passion. I like to help people, and I like to figure out different ways that I can do that.
That's good.
So hopefully that answers.
Yeah, for sure. So the last question I have for you is, you know, with all the things you've done in ministry, and I'm sure the struggles you've had, what is a piece of advice that you would have for someone just stepping into their world of ministry? Like, what's something you wish you knew when you first started?
There's a couple different things I could say.
Perfect.
Can I remember them? Yo, let me write these thoughts down. I already forgot. I would say, no, I have them. Don't think that you're not worthy to take on something. I think I face a lot of times where I'm like, well, am I the right person for this job? Should I be the one doing this? Even when I was offered this job as program director, I was like lining them up with names. I was like, this person would be really good and this person would be really great. But then he was like, you. And I was like, oh, okay. Which is funny because I wanted that job so badly. I wanted it so bad.
But as soon as you were offered it.
Yeah, but as soon as was offered to me, I was kind of like, oh, doubts. I was like, am I actually capable of doing this job? Do I have enough experience? Like, I'd worked 3 years. I'd done 2 years of counseling and a year of swim dock director. So lifeguarding coming in clutch. But like every single time, even like there was a change of directors when I became program director. Even the previous director had texted me. He's like, I think you'd be really good at this job. And I was like, oh, interesting. And I told like my parents, like my aspirations. And they're like, yeah, go for it. The second that he told me, I was kind of like, there's literally 1,000 other people that could do this job. I don't know why I set myself up like that. But like, you are definitely worthy of doing the work. And it feels like you're going to be abandoned immediately. You're like, no, there's nobody to help me and I don't know what to do. Which is, I'm not going to lie, often how you feel in ministry. You're like, how do I solve this problem? It's not a straight answer. Where AI comes in is a fantastic thing. How do I solve this problem? But I think God doesn't put us in places where he like thinks we're going to be bad at it. Like, that would be such a setup to be like, actually, you're trash at this thing. You go through a crisis, take 5 steps back in the journey. Like, what? No, I don't think that's a thing. But I think he pushes people out of your comfort zone because there's no opportunity that you're going to find that's going to be in your comfort zone. Lots of people like to stay in that box because it's safe. But you're never going to accomplish anything if you keep making safe steps. Like, you got to tread the water sometimes. You got to jump in sometimes, even if you don't know how to swim. Like, you're kind of like, okay, don't take that advice if you actually can't swim. The lifeguard in me is like, wait.
You just killed a million people.
1,000 people. I hope you have millions of subscribers.
Hey man, you never know.
But like, sometimes you kind of have to like not struggle, but at least like you have to try and put yourself out there because there's nothing for you in the state that you're already in. If you're trying to improve yourself, you can't improve yourself in the state you're already in. You have to look outwards and you have to aspire to be something more than you already are. But I think that little thing in the back of your head is like, oh, am I good at this? Am I going to be like, am I going to ruin everything by doing this job? But I don't think God is going to be like, go do this, right? He's going to be like, okay, come on. It's not always going to be easy, but like, you're always worthy to be in that spot and he'll prepare you in that spot. Like, when I tell you the first time I did flag raising here, I had to make a quick decision because I think it was weather or something like that. Bro, I went in the office and I cried because I was so overwhelmed with a whole bunch of stuff. But then the more I did it and the more I got comfortable and the more I was tested, even this year, I'm being tested, bro. And it's not like any specific thing or any specific person, but it's just the development that has to happen. And like in this camp, I've learned patience. You can't ask to, have patience and then be expected to just become patient or just to become something. Yeah. Like I can be like, I want to be a world-class volleyball player. I never played a volleyball a day in my life. Like you kind of have to do that. So I guess that would be my first thing is like knowing that if you're kind of in the environment and people are suggesting you and saying things, you are worthy to be in that environment. You're not like, it's not going to burn and die. Like people are going to be there to help you. Yeah. I think the second one is always, and this is my thing, this goes along my topic of I hate being bored. I hate being boring. I hate mundane. Try different stuff. And I think this is where a lot of things we talk about in ministry and programming is like you get stuck in the same box of doing things. And this is how my predecessor did it. So this is how I do it. I've never been like that. I'm always like, let's switch it up. Let me make things 10,000 times harder for myself by trying to switch it up, right? But I think that, like, even teenagers now, I say that like I'm ancient, but I work with kids, so I feel old sometimes when they're like, what? You're 23? Or when they're like, you're like, oh, how old are you? And they're like, 15. And I'm like, you were born in 2010? And they're like, yeah. And then I'm like, I was conscious in that time. I remember 2010. Not vividly. I remember the Vancouver, Canada, the Olympic mittens, the red ones. I still have those. My hands were very small then. I don't know why that came to my mind. I think that people now, I think volunteering is so important. Because I think people, especially when you're in high school and you're trying to figure out your life, and whether it's ministry and all these different things that you can experiment with, these are the opportunities for you to discover what you like. I think lots of people are like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a teacher. And all these professions are good. But the amount of people that I know that go into university and they've done 3 years of their undergrad and they hate their lives. They hate what they're doing. And they're like, oh, I really, really want to be in this. And me being the person that's like taking the time, like I took 2 years to figure out what I wanted to like kind of try. And it's good that it worked out. But people are like, oh, I can't do it. Like, I might as well just finish this. And I'm like, but if this is the thing you want to do, go do it. Like, why are you wasting your time on something you hate? Go figure it out. And people are like, but the steps back, and I wasted all this money, and I wasted all this time. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's already been wasted. There's not much you can really do about it at this point. So might as well take the step in the other direction and work from there. You're not going to lose anything by rerouting yourself. Like, it might take a little bit more time, but time's already behind you. It's only what's forward in the first place, so you can't do anything about it. So very I think true. That I was saying with high school kids and volunteering and figuring those things out, there's like an epidemic of people like needing volunteers and like organizations that are closing because they don't have the active amount of people volunteering. Like a lot of it used to be like older people or high school students, but they're not like doing the same requirements anymore. But like step out and try different things, especially in high school. Because you're not like going into the thing that you like specifically want to study and stuff. You have so much there's so many different things you could do. Like you could volunteer at day camps. I used to volunteer at like triathlons, giving out the bananas and like what do you call them, cheese trains at the end of races. I volunteered here a little bit when I was in high school. I did soup kitchens, like and you figure out your niche and the things like you like to do, and so you kind of do one thing and you're like, I didn't really like enjoy that at all, so let me go and try something else. And I think that's so important, is that people close themselves off into this one box and they're like, okay, this is the thing that I have to do now because I've put myself in this box. You can do whatever you want. You have free will. do what you like. It was Ecclesiastes 3 verse 22. Look it up. New King James Version, King James, I don't know whatever, New International Translation. But do the things that you are good at and do the things that you're passionate about and experiment and try different things. Those experiments aren't always going to go the way you want them to. Sometimes you might find out, I really hated that thing. And it could have been something that you were so excited about. Like, I wanted to be a vet when I was younger. I could not cut, like, grade 11 biology, when I had to do the eyeball and the pig, I almost lost my mind. Oh, man. And I said to myself, never again am I going to do something like that, right? So it's just, I think my second piece of advice, like my first piece of advice, is to know that you are worthy to be in a space if you have been called there. Don't doubt yourself. My second one is to experiment. There's no point in staying in the same box that you've put yourself, like that, whether you put yourself in or somebody else put you in there. If you are not happy and you don't feel called by God to be in that environment, it's okay to move and to try something else and to experiment, because Jesus was a carpenter, but was that like his main thing he was supposed to do? No, he like did different things and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's okay to switch it up. It's okay. Yeah. So I think that would be my piece of advice, is like, don't be scared to try different things, because at the end of the day, character development is character So it's like,
Yeah.
What do you lose by trying?
Comfort, maybe.
Comfort, but the comfort will come back eventually.
Mm-hmm. In a different way.
Yeah.
In a way that's more comfortable.
Exactly. Word. The advice that you're getting on this podcast today is crazy. Yeah.
That's funny. That's really good. Well, thank you for taking the time out of your clearly very busy life. This is the only time she had free. Let's get a final timestamp before we close out.
It is 12:01.
12:01.
I'm late for my curfew by
It's okay.
1 minute.
I'm so sorry.
And
We
you're
really
sleeping in my room.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode and you want to support this podcast, please like the video, subscribe to this podcast, and comment. Let us know what you think. If there was something that you agreed with and you think we talked about something that should be talked about even more, let us know. Or if there's something that you disagreed with, also let us know. The point of this podcast is to start the conversation. We don't want it to just end with us. We want to continue it. So continue the conversation with us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.